If you're wondering how to organize your warehouse, go to Costco and go to Home Depot. People just naturally know where to go to find stuff. You can sort things by usage. So we each went through and tried to find what do we use all the time and make it on the ground level and the first shelf where you don't need a lift to get it. So we'll bring everybody around. All right, so once we go through that whole process, we have someone that reads through all the projects and verifies all the fulfillment. Everything electronic is very helpful, but in the warehouse, organizationally, having a physical packet is helpful. We do these little traffic cones, and we just zip-tied binder clips to them, and each job has its packet, and as they pull it, they just line everything up behind the cones. We do, for rentals, we do blue sheets. That's for anybody that's coming here to pick stuff up. And for the jobs that are going out, we do white. It's a good visual differentiation when they're trying to track everything down. This area here and the area on the other side of this are just staging areas. You don't realize how much empty space you need in a warehouse when you're planning a warehouse. It makes it nice and easy to load the truck. You don't need as much time to flip trucks. If you're going from one job to another, if everything's ready and your truck comes back from another job, you can have it loaded up in 20 minutes. If you don't have a staging area and you have to wait and pull everything after the extra truck comes back because you need to put it right on the truck, that same job could take you 2 hours to load a truck instead of 10 minutes. We have Eric, who runs our warehouse, has a dry erase board over here, all the different jobs, and as they complete them, he checks them off, so anybody out here in the warehouse, if they're looking for something to do, can find a job that hasn't been pulled. If it's not checked, usually the sheets will be in here, so they can pull them out. We have just recently started, we're transitioned from the pull sheets all being paper and marking it off on paper to doing tablets. Rob was our beta tester. He's coming up here. We got tablets. From Costco, the Samsung tablets are like $160 and they use Wi-Fi. We have, whoever's pulling it is going through and checking it, and they're staging it here. And then Rob's job is, as it goes on the truck, is to go through and hit the second checkbox, which is going on the truck. That saves us a lot when you're pulling jobs. If we're busy and we have 10 jobs staged out here, stuff can get mixed up. And it may have gotten checked that it was pulled, but you don't know if it actually went on the truck. So Rob's our safety net, making sure that everything goes in. As he's loading the truck, he's just sitting there checking it off. Now that you do it digitally, it's nice because anybody in the company, the installers, the salespeople, can see in real time, is it pulled? Is it loaded? You know, where exactly in the process is it? And you can see it as it's happening. Which is really nice. And then when it comes back, they can do the same thing. They can sit there and check everything back in and mark if stuff is missing in real time. When we did it on paper, we were running into issues where he would know something was missing at 9 o'clock in the morning, but then he'd finish checking in the rest of the job, and then he'd have 2 other jobs, and then he'd hand the paper in at 5 o'clock. And at that point, it was too late to go back that day, or that had to go on a job the next morning. And that delay when you get busy created a lot of problems. And if he marks that it's missing, it'll pop up with a red flag if there's any conflicts coming up. So it helps kind of alert us if it's an emergency or how we have to do it. Once everything's pulled, they stage it there. Up here, because they're always asking what truck's it going on, we have route planning, but this way they can just see who's coming in and out. So once everything goes out, goes out on the truck. All these bays are only for things going out. When the job's done, everything comes back. We'll walk down here. All the jobs come back in. Once they come in, they get pulled and counted on the tablets here. We set up our warehouse. It's conveniently divided into 3 sections. Functionally, this section, everything that comes back goes here, and nothing is supposed to leave this section to go over there unless it is ready to be put away. Over here we have our carpet and dance floor. We inspect and clean them. We have our wood shop is in the back. Anything that's broken, needs to be repainted or repaired, goes back there. We are waiting for the permits to come through, and we're going to put our laundry and sewing department and a installer and warehouse, like break room area, along this wall, so they kind of have all their own stuff. But keeping everything dirty and that needs to be worked on over here or counted over here, and then everything that is just being stored in inventory and ready to go out there, creating that physical barrier helps keep order. Yes, yeah, thank you. That's the perfect word. So as it comes back, so this is where we keep everything that needs work. Everything, once they can clean carpets, clean dance floors, do all the drape. Everything gets checked back in. Once it's checked in, they roll it over here. This center section for us is drape and fabrics. That's what we started with, was just doing drape. We've expanded, but we have enough that organizationally it was good. If you can do a deep dive and you're trying to figure out your organization, look at your usage. You can sort things by usage. So we each went through and tried to find what do we use all the time and make it on the ground level and the first shelf where you don't need a lift to get it, and try and organize it in a way that makes sense, but also is functional. If you're wondering how to organize your warehouse, go to Costco and go to Home Depot and just look at how they organize it. Costco, Home Depot, all the grocery stores have paid billions of dollars and put millions of hours of research into planning it and training everybody how to think. If you walk in and it's organized like a Home Depot or a Costco or your Giant, people just naturally know where to go to find stuff. All the drape should be together. Maybe it's organized by color, maybe it's organized by fabric type. But use what, like these people don't, if you think you're gonna come up with a new idea, you're wrong. There's probably millions of people around the world where this is their livelihood, is figuring out how to organize it. So just go with that organizational system. Labeling, if somebody goes out in the warehouse and looks for something, the first thing they do is look for end caps, like the little labels. What aisle number is it? Anyone that comes in, that is the first place they look, because you've been trained to do that. So just go with what the world's trained everybody to do. So everything we have in inventory. We label all of these. We're in the process of putting all of the barcodes, the Goodshuffle barcodes on here. Most everything we have has it, but this way we know where it goes. If it goes out, it has a place to go back to, and it helps for quick reference. We added a location tab into Goodshuffle. So each aisle and shelf has a label. Like this is F9, shelf 5. So we put that location tab in there, and when you print the pull sheet, it has this item is like F95, and so you know exactly what shelf it is. So it helps the installers find it. If the salespeople want to go take a look at it, they pull up the inventory item, and they know exactly where to go. Oh, here when they're inspecting everything coming back, if they find 2 that are damaged, they can just go and put 2 on set aside and say it's damaged. So we put them on set aside, then our sewing department will go in and check, can they fix it, or do they need to cut it down to a shorter size? And then they just make an inventory modification. One little thing that we do, since we may have 15 events out, everybody marks everything that's missing. We had to do a little bit of a patch. If you have extra equipment, they fill out a little form that says, here's the extra equipment, because all those sheets go to Angie, who manages everything in here, and it'll say, you're missing 10 panels of drape here, and then she goes and looks at the overage sheet. Maybe those 10 panels of drape got pulled off this job in an emergency and sent to another job, or somehow got mixed up in the trucks. So then she can go resolve any conflicts and say, here, this extra stuff came back on this job, it actually came off from this other one. So we have a little overage sheet that they fill out when they check everything in, and then turn that into her so she can help resolve those. As you go back here, again, we tried to keep the items that we use the most often up front. So we have our pipe and drape hardware up front, and then we move back into staging, which is the item that we send out the second most. And we can probably do a quick sneak through here just to. We do a lot of custom stages, so we'll build random. There's 15 different sizes of circle stages, oval stages. Just watch out for this. Nobody hit. So the ones that we don't send out that often, we just keep them up on top. And the main stuff that goes out is just the standard stage decks. We have 120 different stairs. You have different colors, different heights, different widths. Nobody can settle on the same thing ever. So we just keep these. Keeping those in inventory and being able to manage them is a big deal. The hardest part with things like stairs is if you recarpet them and change colors, is just how to tracking that inventory can be a little bit of a headache. Down here, we have bars, couches, furniture. Keeping the really big, bulky items down low, unless we hardly ever use them, makes it a lot easier to get everything in and out. And then with Goodshuffle, doing packages with bars, we interchange. All of ours are interchangeable. So you have a frame, a front, a top. It's kind of like Build-A-Bar. And so we use a lot of packages to help group all those individual items, but then when the pull sheet goes out, then all the package is a nice presentable picture to the client, and then all the individual pieces are broken out on the backside. And we add everything down to the screws and the drill in there. I don't like having to go to somebody to find out what goes out. Anybody should be able to create a package that has every single item for every single thing. Hiding knowledge or having only certain people that have certain parts is a recipe for disaster, because somebody will forget it. And revising the packages every time the job goes out. Anytime anybody says, I wish we had this or we should have had that, we go back and immediately change the package and add those items, so you're constantly refining it. So it's always getting better. And then over here, we don't do a lot of decor, but we do have some. Some hedge walls, wine barrels, and cafe lights and chandeliers, that sort of thing. We limit what we do. We like to stay in our lane. AV companies, lighting companies, design companies hire us a lot. So we just do kind of the minimum that we need to make it work. But we like, if you stay focused on doing what you do well and don't try and do everything, I feel like it's a long-term success. A lot of companies starting up overextend themselves and try and do everything. And then you have a lot of people that do stuff okay, but don't do everything great. If you can do what you do great, you will not have a problem. People will always find you. This is our temporary home for our sewing department. They ask me every day when that's going to be done. That is the permitting process. If you are doing permits, building permits, you can only have one out at a time. So either you have to do everything all at once, or if you split it up, you have to wait until the first permit is completely closed before you can open up the second one, which is what we ran into on that. Yeah, so that's held us up a bit, but this is like a temporary home. All the drape comes back, they inspect it, make sure everything's good, steam it. We hang all of our drape that gets wrinkly so that you don't have wrinkles or creases. A lot of it, if you fold it, you end up with these box grids all over it, and nobody likes that. We make all of our own drape in-house. We have 4 full-time seamstresses, and they deal with all the fabric care, manufacturing, and custom projects. And then this down here, we trying to keep everything together. We have stage skirts, we have hard skirts, fabric skirts. Nobody ever wants the same thing, so we just have hundreds of them. These are trade show bases. We do a lot of trade shows, so when you're doing those, you may have 200 going out. So having all the pins already in them makes it go much faster. What else? Yeah, so I think that's the end of this. Yep. So thank you everybody for coming out. I appreciate it.